From the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida, the Dolphins and the Houston Oilers are about ready for the opening kickoff. As you look at this crowd in the Orange Bowl in Miami, color guard moving off. They've added some new seats here, and they're going to come up just short of a sellout as you look to Don Shula. His pro coaching record, 115 wins, 37 losses, and 6 ties. Shula, who came here as head coach, a vice president, and part owner of the Miami Dolphins. And, Johnny, he has really turned things around here in 3 seasons.
Gee, I think his record speaks for itself, what he's done in his past coaching career, and consistency, and that's the success to anything, is consistency. Also, consistency, I see that the field is still a little wet, Jay. It's wet in spots. They had some rain last night, and it may be a little slippery.
We are about ready to go. Willie Rogers is deep off the far side. He is a rookie. Rogers from Kentucky State. And down the near side is Benny Johnson. Johnson and Rogers are the 2 deep men to receive Yepremian's opening kickoff. Guerra waiting for the whistle. Here he comes. Gets the toe into it. He gets it high. It'll be back close to the goal line. Grabbed a yard deep by Rogers. He comes out, changes his mind, comes out again to the 5, the 10, and he is smothered at the 14-yard line. He stepped right at the goal line, and a big puddle of water oozed up. He caught the ball a yard deep in the end zone, came out a yard, and then went back in and then changed his mind, decided he had to go with it. And he's brought down out at the 14 by Bob Matheson.
Once you start going out, Rick, you can't change your mind. Once you decide you're going to run that ball, you've got to keep coming.
All right, the Houston Oilers will start from their 14-yard line. Dan Pastorini will be the quarterback. Al Johnson and Hoyle Granger are the split backs, and behind Pastorini, Burrow, along with Joyner, are the wide receivers. Pastorini on first down, swings a pass to Granger, slips and falls back at the 10-yard line and is brought down at the 15. As he got up, went for the 15-yard line, fumbles the ball as he's hit, and the Dolphins recover. He slipped coming out on a screen to the near side of the field, caught the ball, slipped at the 10, got up, scrambled for the 15, was contained, and lost the football, and the Dolphins recover it. Recovered by Bill Stanfield. So the Dolphins have it at the Oilers' 14-yard line, and so the ball right at the beginning of the ball game quickly changes hands, and this wet field right off the bat becomes a factor. As Pastorini hit Granger with a swing pass, the screen, he slipped at the 10, got up, rambled to the 15, was hit and fumbled the ball. Kick, and Zonka out of the backfield man. Greasy sets his ball club. Dolphins first down at the Houston 14-yard line. Here's a handoff kick inside, cuts to the left, 10, 5, spinning, driving down to the 1-yard line. Goes Jim Kick as he had a big hole over the left side. The tackle by cornerback Benny Johnson, setting the Dolphins for you as the Dolphins pick up a first and goal situation at the Houston 1-yard line. Kick goes for 13 yards. Mandich is in and Briscoe is out. Mandich and Fleming are the 2 blockers up front. Warfield remains in. Moore and Evans the tackles. Kuchenberg and Little the guards. Langer the center. Greasy the quarterback. He's got Kick and Zonka as the split backs in behind him. First and goal, Dolphins from the Houston 1-yard line. Handoff kick behind Zonka, in for the touchdown. And here come the White Handkerchiefs. Let's bring them out. It took him 2 plays after Stanfield recovered Granger's fumble to get into the end zone, and Jim Kick scores his first TD of the season.
Great offensive blocking on both those plays, Rick. Jim Langer had Mike Tillman all the way back there, drove him back 5 yards, made a big hole for Kick to come through.
Morrill holds. Yepremian will try the point from placement down here at the west end zone. The snap set down, the kick is up, and it is perfect. 13-17 left to go in the first quarter. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 7, Houston nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian kicks off again deep in the end zone, and Rogers this time wisely downs it for the touchback, and the Oilers will start from their 20-yard line. That fumble that Ron J. made, the Dolphins recovered at the Houston 14-yard line, was forced by Vern Denherter and recovered by Bill Stanfield. Henry?
Larry Little got a bruise above his right knee on that. They're rubbing it down. It shouldn't be any problem because it was above the knee. Bob Kuchenberg's right ankle was bruised a little bit.
All right, Reed and Burrow set as double wide receivers. Alvin Reed, the tight end, to the near side, and Joyner is wide to the left. Here's a handoff to the drop play. Granger slants over left tackle and gets a yard, maybe 2, out to the 22-yard line. Nick Bonaconte and Mike Cullen make the stop on the play. Setting the Oilers offensively for you, Joyner and Burrow are the wide receivers. The quarterback is Pastorini. The running backs are Granger along with Al Johnson. Alvin Reed is the tight end. The tackles are Funchess and Carr. The guards are Regner and Saul, and Hunt is the center. The ball is at the 21. Johnson is out, and Willie Rogers is now in at a running back. He and Granger are the split backs, and now Rogers sets as a slot man to the left side. The ball at the 21, second down and 9 for Houston. Handoff, big hole in the middle. Granger bursts through across the 30 out to the 35-yard line. Fine trap blocking up front by the Houston forwards, and they put it down at the Houston 34-yard line. That's a gain of 13 and a first down for the Oilers.
And you're going to find an offense like this with Bill Peterson as the coach. Peterson loves to gamble. You'd think that he's going through the air, but heck, here he ran his delay.
Johnson is back in. He and Granger are the I formation backs in behind Pastorini. Now they split off. Joyner split left and Burrow to the near side. Reed, the tight end, is slot man right. From the 34, Pastorini, a step back, fires for the far sidelines and throws it into the Houston bench, incomplete. Intended for Charlie Joyner over there. Defensively for the Dolphins, Denherter, Fernandez, Dunaway, and Stanfield on the front line. Swift, Bonaconte, and Colin left to right linebackers. Foley and Johnson are the cornerbacks, and Jake Scott and Dick Anderson are the safeties. Granger, Willie Rogers now comes in from the Houston bench as a running back. Rogers, 6 feet, 205, a rookie from Kentucky State. It is a second down and 10. Houston's ball at their 34-yard line. The Dolphins lead 7-0. 11:54 to go in this first quarter. A recovered fumble, 2 plays. Jim Kick punched over from the 1-yard line. Waiting for the snap from center. Here's Pastorini. Hands off. Stopped at the line of scrimmage and getting up to about the 36-yard line is Hoyle Granger. A bad handoff, it appeared, from here. Dunaway makes the tackle, and they put it down at the 36-yard line. A gain of about 2 yards. It'll be third down coming up and 8 yards to go. Johnson coming in, and Rogers is out. Obviously, this is the way that Peterson intends to send plays into Pastorini, is with the interchange of the running backs. Al Johnson, a big rookie from Cincinnati, wears number 15. A third down and 8, the ball at the Houston 36-yard line. They set tight, and now they move Burrow out as a wide man to the near side. Reed, the tight end, also splits off a couple of yards to the near side. The Dolphins jump. Here's the handoff going to Granger through a hole in the middle, gets out to the 39, but there are flags down. We'll get the penalty for you just as soon as we get an indication from the official.
Looks like Manny Fernandez jumped offside on that one, Rick. Little eager.
All right, he picked up about 3 yards on the carry. Referee Fred Silva checking with the captains. Henry?
Rick, a light rain has started to fall down here on the field now, and of course the lights are turned on in the stadium.
Dolphins penalized 5 yards.
5-yard penalty against the Dolphins for offsides gives Houston the ball at their 41-yard line. Rogers and Granger are the running backs, and it makes it a third down and 4 situation. They have to get just shy of their 45 for a first down. The Dolphins lead 7-0. We're in the first quarter, 11:06 left to play in this first period. Joyner splits off the far side, Burrow to the near side. Here's the pitch coming to Rogers. Sweep to the right side. He slips and falls down and is contained at the Houston 42-yard line. He's about 3 yards shy of what he needed for a first down. Dick Anderson fell on top of him, along with Vern Denherter. And so a punting situation results. Pastorini will handle the kicking. The line of scrimmage will be the Houston 42-yard line. They started out with a slip being a factor, and on that swing pass, the first play of the ball game to Granger, he slipped, fell, fumbled the ball. The Dolphins recovered at the Houston 14. 2 plays later, kick brought it in from 1 yard out. Charlie Lee is deep, Anderson shallow. Charlie Babb is shallow, rather. Here's Pastorini, fumbles the ball, and it's loose on the field at the 30-yard line. It looks from here, Dolphins have got it. That ball hit him right in the hands. It obviously was slippery. It popped out like a wet watermelon seed. Pastorini, the punter, fumbled it. The Dolphins, Jim Mandich, fell on it. And the Dolphins, again, off a Houston fumble, have excellent field position at the Oilers 30-yard line. Henry?
Rick, you were confused why Anderson wasn't there. He got a bruised right calf.
All right, there's a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 7, the Oilers nothing. Rick Weaver at the Orange Bowl. Dolphins again off a Houston fumble with excellent field position. First down at the Houston 30-yard line. Mercury Morris down there with Zonka. He takes the handoff. Sweep to the right, cut back to his left. 25, 20, shakes the tackler inside the 20 and is brought down at about the 17-yard line. Mercury Morris, first down Dolphins. Melvin Buffet Defensive end along with big Mike Tillman, 6'7", 275, a 7-year man from Montana, defensive tackle, made the stop. Setting the Oilers defense, Pat Holmes, Tillman, Brooks, and Bethea the front four, Rice, Pritchard, and Webster the linebackers, Alexander and Johnson the cornerbacks, Charles and Houston at the safety spot. Dolphins ball on the Oilers 17 with a first down. Dolphins leading 7-0. Waiting for the snap from center is Morris and Zonka are the split backs. Here's a handoff to Larry. Sweep to the right, cuts back to his left. The 15 to the 10. Greg's tacklers with him inside the 10 down to the 8-yard line. Just a couple of yards shy of a first down. Mike Tillman, the defensive left tackle, makes the stop on the play. And they're going to put it down at the 9-yard line. Gain of about 8. It'll be second down, and we'll call it about 2 to go for a first down. The ball at the 9-yard line in Houston territory. 2 fumbles early in the ball game. One off a completed screen pass. The Dolphins recovered at the Houston 14, and Pastorini in a punt situation couldn't handle the ball. The Dolphins recovered it at the Houston 30. Double wide receivers, Briscoe and Warfield to the left side. Here's the handoff. Morris inside, hits the middle. 5. Still dragging tacklers with him down to the 2. Mercury Morris, the ball carrier. Mike Tillman again in on the stop along with defensive left end Pat Holmes. That's a first down. The Dolphins have a first and goal at the Houston 2-yard line, and Jim Mandich comes in. As Briscoe comes out, the power blocking unit in there with Fleming and Mandich both in the offensive blocking unit.
Ron Pritchard, middle linebacker, gambled on that and shot. When he did shoot, well, it was no problem moving right on the side and left a big hole for Merck to scoot through.
The Dolphins knocking on the door at the west end zone once again. Morris and Zonka split off in behind Greasy. First and goal from the 2-yard line. Greasy up under center, barks the signals, hands to Merck. Big hole, he's got it, touchdown Dolphins. Bring out those white handkerchiefs. The Dolphins from the Houston 30-yard line marched in with Morris, a big hole in the middle, a 2-yard ram right straight ahead, and the Dolphins now have a 13-0 lead. Morrow will hold. Yepremian will try to make it 2 out of 2. And the officials want an interchange of footballs. It is wet, and those footballs do get wet, and I firmly believe that's what caused Pastorini to fumble that snap from center. There was nothing wrong with the snap, at least it appeared that way from here. Here's the snap, set down. Yepremian has it blocked. Yepremian has it blocked. And it's no good, off to the right side. Well, how about that one? 8 minutes and 16 seconds left to go in this first half. The Dolphins have a 13-0 lead. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. The Dolphins 13 and the Oilers nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian kicks off, and Willie Rogers grabs it about 3 yards deep in the end zone and does not run it out. It's a touchback, and the Oilers will start again from their own 20-yard line, and the west end of the field has been a disaster for them. 2 fumbles, 2 Dolphin touchdowns, and even Garo Yepremian misses an extra point. That is the first extra point as a Dolphin he has ever missed. Henry?
And it wasn't blocked. He just missed it.
All right, it was not blocked. He just missed the kick. And the slippery condition of the ball had to have something to do with it. The handoff on the first play from scrimmage to Granger over the left side. Gets out to about the 23-yard line. Houston looking very inept at this stage. Nick Bonaconte, Bill Stanfield make the tackle for the Dolphins. It'll be a 2nd down and 7.
And Rick, on those last 2 plays, doesn't that compound the problem a little more? You got Morris looking so good running the ball. You got Kick looking so good running the ball. I'm sure a lot of coaches in the league would love to have Don Shula's problem.
All right, Pastorini brings his ball club out. Charlie Joyner splits to the far side. Rhett Dawson, a rookie from Florida State, now in the ball game at a wide receiver. He splits to the near side. Johnson and Granger. The I formation backs behind Pastorini. He's going to throw. Swings a pass out. It is dropped by Joyner. A hook pass to the far sideline, trying to pick up the screen, and he took his eyes off the ball and dropped it back at the 20-yard line. Incomplete, 3rd down and 7. Peterson trying to get some people in there that can hold on to the football. Dawson is out, and Burrow comes back in at a wide receiver. Al Johnson, Hoyle Granger are the running backs, Pastorini the quarterback, Reed the tight end, and Joyner and Burrow are the wide receivers. A 3rd down and 7 for Houston. The ball at their 23-yard line. They split Burrow off to the far side, and Joyner comes to the near side this time. Granger and Johnson, the split backs in behind Pastorini. He's up under center. Hands off. Hold in the middle. Granger across the 25 out to about the 29-yard line. That will be short of what they need for a first down. Nick Bonacani dropped him a yard short of what they needed. Granger has been the principal runner, but they have not been able to move the ball out beyond their own 30-yard line. So that brings up a fourth down. We get a punting situation, and the rain is really coming down now here at the Orange Bowl. Charlie Lee goes back as the deep man, and Dick Anderson is back in there as the shallow man now. Pastorini will punt from his 14. The line of scrimmage is the Houston 29. Here is the snap. He holds on to it this time, gets off a low trajectory, wobbly kick, bounces at the Dolphins' 40, inside the 40 to the 35 to the 34-yard line, and is down there at the Dolphins' 34-yard line. 6 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first quarter, and they're going to rule that the ball was touched farther back upfield by a Houston player, so it is officially down at the 39-yard line in Dolphin territory. There is a timeout. The score, the Dolphins 13 and the Oilers nothing. Henry?
Rick, the officials have now changed their mind, and they say that Garrow's field extra point attempt was partially blocked.
So time is back in, and they're interchanging footballs and trying to keep them dry as the showers have come. The Dolphins have it at our 39-yard line. Briscoe splits off to the far side, Warfield to the near side. We've got Kick and Zonka. Zonka's a slot man to the right. Greasy up under center. First down from our 39-yard line. Dropping to throw is Greasy, fires for Warfield. He's got it at the 50, shakes a tackle at the 45, and is down at the Houston 43-yard line. A slant over the middle with Greasy hitting a strike to Paul Warfield. Good for a Dolphin first down. Strong side linebacker Floyd Rice made the tackle.
And Wayne Moore is doing better and better at that left tackle spot. He's keeping Bethea out of there. Bethea didn't get anywhere near Greasy on that play.
18 yards on the pass completion from Greasy to Warfield. The Dolphins with a 13-0 lead. A first down at the Houston 43. 6:12 left to go in the first quarter. Warfield splits left. Briscoe to the far side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Greasy. From the Oilers 43-yard line. Greasy has just completed his first pass. Hand off to Zonka. Sweep to the left. He is wrestled out of bounds on a head tackle at the near sideline at the 40-yard line. Tackled by right quarterback Benny Johnson, a 3-year man from J.C. Smith.
That ball, Warfield, Rick just catch that ball on the last play, and here he just threw his block on Webster, just knocked Webster completely out of the way so they could turn that corner.
A second down and 7. Dolphins football at the Houston 40-yard line. Remember, following the ball game, for you fans in Miami, the only live player interviews from the Dolphin and Oiler dressing room only on WIOD on our Rolling Home show. And next week, airtime on these stations for the Minnesota Viking game, 3:50 from Bloomington Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Greasy, long count at the line of scrimmage, hands off to Kick, hole on the left side. It closes in a hurry as he gets to the 37-yard line. A flag is thrown after the tackle had been made. Tackled by Ron Billingsley, number 82, the right side defensive tackle. There was another big one at 6'8", 270, Elvin Bethea, the right end, also in on the stop. And the play is going to be called back. The penalty against Miami will be marched off from the point of the infraction and sets the ball back to the Miami 46-yard line. Holding on the Dolphins is the call. So that puts it back to the 46. Mercury Morris is in, and Jim Kick is out at a running back for the Dolphins. It'll be second down and 21. Miami's football at our 46-yard line. 5 minutes, 52 seconds to go in period number 1. The Dolphins recovering 2 early Houston fumbles and converting them into touchdowns. Yepremian had a try for point block, the first one that he has missed. Greasy up under center, has Briscoe split right, Warfield to the near side. Morris and Zonka. Greasy play action, fakes the handoff, swings a screen pass out to Morris, far side, 45, 50, 45, shakes a tackle at the 40 and is down inside the 40 at the Houston 36 or 37-yard line by linebacker George Webster. Henry?
That holding on the previous play was called on center Jim Langer.
All right, the Dolphins with a screen pass, Greasy to Morris. Move the ball down to the Houston 37-yard line, where it'll be a third down coming up and about 4 yards to go for a first down. 17 yards on the pickup.
And that line built up that screen just beautifully out there, Rick. Larry Little knocked down Willie Alexander, and there was no one around the runner.
Greasy brings his ball club out. Warfield split to the near side. Briscoe to the far side. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Greasy from the Oilers 37. A third down and 4. Greasy drops to throw. Sets, swings to Zonka. He's got it inside the 30, down to the 29. Good for a first down, and he carried 2 tacklers with him. George Webster, who's a big linebacker at 6'5" and 230, and you could hear the collision all the way up here. The other tackler was Floyd Rice. First down for the Dolphins as Greasy converts on third down at the Oilers' 29-yard line. Morris is out. Kick is in. The Dolphins' offensive backfield. Kick has scored a touchdown from 1 yard out, and Morris has run for 2 yards. The offense hasn't had too much to do because of Houston mistakes in this first quarter. They've had excellent field position. In the eye, Zonka and Kick in behind Greasy. Briscoe splits to the far side. First down from the Houston 29. Here's the pitch. Going to Kick. Sweep to the right. Behind Little. Gets the block to the 25. He is down to the 20-yard line and out of bounds on the far side of the field. Floyd Rice made the tackle from his strong side linebacker spot. Larry Little threw the block that allowed him to turn the corner. About a 9-yard pickup for Kick, who has run extremely well this afternoon. It'll be second down and 1.
You can't say too much about the blocking ability of that Larry Little. He put on 2 good blocks on that. After he knocked the 85 back, he picked up Benny Johnson out there to continue giving the man more running room.
Second down and 1. Dolphins football at the Houston 20-yard line. The Dolphins have been in the Oiler end of the ballpark all afternoon. Briscoe splits right, Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonka, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, the split backs in behind Greasy. The handoff. Kick, he's got the first down through the middle, down to about the 16-yard line. Jim Kick on a dive, just hit the middle, and Ron Pritchard, the middle linebacker, they've been doing a good job on, made the tackle on the play. First down for the Dolphins at the Oilers' 16-yard line. This game has been all Miami, with Houston mistakes contributing. Slips, fumbles. They break out of the huddle. Briscoe splits right. Warfield to the near side. Kick and Zonka are the split backs. In behind Greasy. First down from the Houston 16-yard line. Greasy now up under center. Barks those signals. Fakes the handoff. Swings a screen to Kick. They're looking for it, and he's dropped for a loss. Back at the 20-yard line. A 4-yard loss. Warfield was the blocker, and 3 blue shirts were in there on top of him. George Webster, the weak side linebacker, came booming in there to knock Kick down before the screen could develop. So it's a loss of 4. It'll be second down and 14 from the Houston 20. Kick is out and Morris is in. 2 minutes, 32 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Dolphins lead 13-0. Their time from Minnesota next week against the Vikings will be at 3:50 on these stations. Briscoe splits right. Warfield to the near side. Fleming split a couple of yards off to the far side. Morris and Zonka in behind Greasy. Second and 14. Bob fakes the handoff. Throws in the middle. Open is Fleming. It's intercepted at the 1-yard line. It is intercepted by free safety John Charles, and Houston takes over at their 1-yard line. Fleming was right there, and Charles got inside of him and pulled the ball in, and so Houston takes over. Let's pause for station identification on the Miami Dolphins Football Network.
Fleming.
Leasing a car is a pleasure when you deal with the largest leasing company affiliated with the General Motors dealer, William Lehman Leasing. Call for details.
WIOD Miami.
Rick Weaver, Henry Barrow, and Lou Creekmer back at the Orange Bowl. A little wet this afternoon. Showers. And if that's a 30% probability we had before the ball game, why, I'd hate to see what a 60% forecast is. Pastorini off Charles' interception has the ball at the Houston 1-yard line. Here's the handoff to Al Johnson. Slant over left tackle, gets 2 out to the 3-yard line before he's stacked up by Nick Bonaconte, the Dolphins middle linebacker. It'll be a second down and 8 coming up. Dolphins with a 13-0 lead. That interception is the second on Greasy in as many ball games this season.
Rick, that ball looked like it floated out there a little bit. It didn't have all the zip on it, and Fleming was waiting a little while, and that's the reason Charles get in front there and intercept that ball.
Rhett Dawson, the rookie from Florida State, is in at a wide receiver, replacing Burrow. A second down and 8. Houston back at their 3-yard line. Granger and Johnson, the running backs. Hand off to Granger. A hole on the left side. He gets out to about the 7, maybe the 8-yard line. Granger, who by far has been the outstanding running back, follows his blockers, looks for daylight, and runs to it. Has been the big runner for Houston this afternoon. Mike Cullen, Bill Stanfield made the stop on the play. It'll be a third down and 2 coming up as Burrow comes back in. And a wide receiver, Robert Holmes, the 5-year veteran who used to play with Kansas City. Number 39 is in at a running back spot. Third down and 2. Chiefs ball at their 8-yard line. Joyner splits left, Burrow to the near side. The backs are in an eye. In behind young Dan Pastorini. Pastorini hands off to Holmes. He pounds the middle, and that might be a little bit short. He did not make it. The punting team is coming on for Houston. The Dolphins were waiting for him that time. Bonaconte and Fernandez stacked the play up at the 10-yard line. They actually needed to get the ball out to the 11, so they are a yard shy. And once again, Houston, who has not been able to keep the ball for any great time this afternoon, has to give it up on a punting situation. The clock is moving with just 6 seconds. Left to go in this first quarter. Dolphins leading 13-0. They will not get the kick away. And there's the gun. That's the end of the first quarter. Dolphin action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. At the end of the first period, our Dolphins 13 and the Oilers nothing. Standing about 5 or 6 yards deep in the end zone. Charlie Lee is deep, and Dick Anderson is up as they may go for a blitz to try to block this punt. Lee is deep to receive it. Here's the snap. They put on a good rush. He booms it out of there. Gets a nice kick. Back at the Dolphins, 46, Charlie Lee. Up the near side. He's not going to go very far. To the 50 into Houston territory at the 49. A 5-yard return on a 44-yard punt by Pastorini. Got a good rush. Guy Murdoch makes the tackle on the play for the Houston specialty team. So the Dolphins will start with excellent field position once again, as we've had throughout this entire ball game, from the Oiler 49-yard line. Dolphins with a 13-0 lead. Greasy, the quarterback, will have Warfield and Briscoe set as double wide receivers to the far side. Kick and Zonka are the split backs. In behind Greasy. Greasy up under center, waiting for the snap. Here it is, hands to Zonka, sweep behind Kuchenberg, turns the left corner, cuts back to his right, gets to the 45, and down to about the 43-yard line before right cornerback Benny Johnson makes the tackle on the play. The safeties are John Charles and Ken Houston. Houston, an all-pro last year with 4 touchdowns off 9 interceptions. Henry?
Rick, we just saw the Dolphins' first important slip. Larry Zonka's right foot went out from under him just as he turned the corner, but his momentum carried him further.
All right, he picked up about 6. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Dolphins football at the Houston 43-yard line. Briscoe to the near side. Warfield split to the far side. Greasy on 2nd down, drops to throw. Has time, fires. Kick has got it. Fumbles the ball, and Houston, no, the Dolphins is still loose. Let's see who's finally going to come up with it at the 37-yard line. The ball squirted loose from Kick, and Houston gets it. At their 37, Pat Holmes, defensive end, is the guy who fell on it. It looked like Briscoe had it. It squirted away from him after it left Kick's hands. Ruled a completed pass. Now, wait a minute. They're going to rule it an incomplete forward pass. They rule it an incomplete forward pass. It took the officials a few minutes to decide. The ball was in Kick's hands, and as he was hit, the ball squirted loose, bouncing around like a hot potato on the floor of the Orange Bowl. Briscoe had his hands on it for the Dolphins, and Holmes wound up with it. They rule it an incomplete forward pass. That is an official judgment call on time of possession. Some will rule it an instant as possession, and others will say no. So the Dolphins come out with a break. 3rd down and 4 off the incomplete forward pass. The ball still at the Houston 43-yard line. Zonka, slot man left. Briscoe split near side, Warfield far side. Greasy back to throw, has time, lobs the ball, and that one spun off his fingers. Incomplete, nowhere near any intended receiver. That one just slipped away. So the wet football, there were receivers down the near side. Briscoe was down the near side, and nobody was near it, not even a Houston defender. The wet condition of the football, and Garo Yepremian will come in to try what amounts to a 51-yard field goal against a rather stiff breeze coming in from the east end. Earl Morrow will hold. Garo's longest in his career, 52 yards in the opening preseason game against Detroit this year. Snap, set down. Yepremian gets the kick up. It is going to be off to his right, grabbed in the end zone. Going to be run out by John Charles across the 10, shakes a tackler at the 15 to the 20. Across the 25, still going, out to the 30 to 31-yard line. John Charles with a fine return, the tackle by Stanfield. And there is a flag down back here at the 50-yard line. Let's see what this is all about. Yepremian's kick was off to his right side at the east end. It was also low. Charles grabbed it a yard deep in the end zone and runs it out to the 31. The penalty, the flag, is called against Houston. And so the Dolphins retain possession of the ball with a 1st down at the 39.
That'd have to be roughing the kicker. They roughed Garo on that one.
All right, another break. The Dolphins off that incomplete pass, and now they get a call that is very much in their favor of a missed field goal that not only allows them a 1st down, but to retain possession of the ball. 1st down at the Houston 39. Warfield splits to the far side. Briscoe to the near side. Morris and Zonka in behind Greasy. Let's see if we can capitalize on this opportunity. Here's the snap. Hand off to Mercury. Around the left side, he's caught. Never did get the corner turn. Right at the line of scrimmage on the far side of the field. Middle linebacker Ron Pritchard makes the tackle on the play, and there's a Houston man out on the field. A Houston man out on the field Now he's getting up. Benny Johnson, the right cornerback, just shaken up a little bit on the play. So the officials are over, and coming in to check is the Houston trainer. Johnson gets up, and he's wobbly. There is a timeout called by the officials. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. The Dolphins 13 and the Oilers nothing. This is Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Bob Atkins has come in to replace Johnson at the cornerback spot. The Dolphins lost a yard on that attempted sweep by Morris. The ball is at the Houston 40. It's 2nd down and 11. Dolphins with a 13-0 lead. Morris and Zonka are the I formation backs in behind Greasy. Briscoe split off the near side. 2nd and 11 from the Houston 40-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Here it is, the pitch to Morris. Sweep to the right. Little throws the block, turns the corner. 35, 30 up the near sideline, slips and falls down at the 21, at the 20-yard line along the near sidelines, or he might have scooted all the way. Mike Tilleman makes the containment, and Floyd Rice also fell on top of Morris. He scrambled for 20 yards, had a good run. Little threw a great block, along with Norm Evans to open the inside hole for him. And as he got down along the near sidelines, his feet went out from under him. He slipped, and the Dolphins have a first down at the Houston 20-yard line.
Rick, I've got to join everybody when they start talking about this may be one of the finest offensive lines in the league. When you look at that Kuchenberg and Little at that guards and then Evans at that right tackle, that's a good crew.
All right, Warfield splits left, Briscoe to the near side. Slips and fumbles this afternoon. Morris and Zonka, the split backs in behind Greasy. First down at the Houston 20-yard line. Greasy hands off on the draw. Fumble at the 19-yard line. The handoff went to Zonka, and Houston recovers. Houston recovers at about the 19 of the 20, and Elvin Bethea, the right end, fell on it. The ball just squirted loose on Greasy's handoff to Zonka. And so the wet condition of the ball, the wet condition of the field, and another fumble, another turnover, and the Dolphins' drive is stopped. Houston has it at their 20. I understand we had a call a while ago at WIOD saying that Yepremian has missed other extra point attempts. This may be true, but the one that he missed in the first quarter is the first one he has missed as a Dolphin. The ball at the Houston 20-yard line. Johnson and Granger, the split backs in behind Pastorini. Waiting for the snap. Pastorini hands off. Granger is knocked down behind the line of scrimmage at the 19-yard line. And that water just popping up from the turf as he tried to get traction with his shoes. Manny Fernandez and Jim Dunaway, the two tackles, contained him. It's a loss of a yard. It'll be a 2nd down and 11. For Houston, the ball at their 19-yard line. Rhett Dawson comes into the ball game at a wide receiver. He and Charlie Joyner are the two Houston wide receivers. Houston has not been able to get on track, have not been out beyond the 35-yard line in this first half. Waiting for the snap now on 2nd down and 11. Pastorini drops the throw, gets a rush, fires one. It's almost intercepted. The ball squirted away from the defensive back. Nick Bonaconte is the man who had his hands on it, and the ball was wobbly thrown, slipped off Pastorini's fingertips, was intended for Granger, and Bonaconte couldn't hold on to it. So it'll be a 3rd down and 11. Houston's ball at their 19-yard line. Ken Burrow comes back in as Bill Peterson trying to get something on track with his offensive unit here. Al Johnson and Hoyle Granger are the running backs. Reed is a slot man to the right side. Joyner and Burrow the split backs. Pastorini back to throw, gets a rush, fires a screen. It's incomplete, intended for Johnson. He unloaded at the last minute to Johnson, the safety valve man at the 15, and he was dumped back at the 1-yard line by a 4-man rush. Vern Denherter. Fernandez got to him, but Johnson just couldn't hold on to the ball. So that brings up a punting situation.
And Rick, they may be looking for some different shoes here when they go in at halftime, because Johnson fell on that one, and also Calvin Hunt, the center. Both of them right down.
Pastorini will punt, as he has done numerous times this afternoon. The line of scrimmage, the Houston 19. He'll stand back at the 4. Dick Anderson is shallow, and Charlie Lee is the deep man to field the punt. 11-17 to go in the half. Dolphins leading 13-0. Here is the snap. He gets it out of there and gets a beauty. A nice high spiral down the near side. Grabbed by Lee. At the 39, the 40, bounces off a tackler, still going across the 45, and is knocked down at the 48-yard line. Charlie Lee just could not find a hole down the near sideline as the punt was to the near side of the field. Phil Froyle, a linebacker playing on the suicide squad for Houston, made the tackle. So the Dolphins wind up with excellent field position again. As Houston has not been able to on-track any offense, they put the ball down at the 46 in Dolphin territory and say that's where he was down. Henry?
You can imagine, Rick, a bunch of disgusted football players, disgusted because of the conditions they're playing under.
All right, Greasy, the quarterback, splits Warfield off to the far side, Briscoe to the near side, and Kick and Zonka will be the split-backs, but we have a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl. With the score, our Dolphins 13, the Oilers nothing. On the first play from scrimmage, the Dolphins operating from our 46 kick over the left side. We're about 5 yards into Houston territory. Is knocked off his feet at the Oiler 49-yard line by tackle Mike Tilleman. Gain of 5. The second down and 5. Greasy, the quarterback, Kick and Zonka, the running backs, Marv Fleming, the tight end, Briscoe and Warfield, the wide receivers, Moore and Evans, the tackles, Kuchenberg and Little Lagarde, and Langer, the center. Briscoe splits to the near side. Warfield to the far side. Second and 5 from the Houston 49. Greasy drops to throw. Has time, firing deep for Warfield. He's got it. 20, 15 to the 10. He's down at the 9-yard line. The tackle by strong safety Ken Houston, or Paul would have been in for the TD. 40 yards on the pass completion from Greasy to Warfield. He hit him on the deep slant over the middle. They put it down at the 10, so make it a 39-yard completion and a first down and goal situation for the Dolphins at the Houston 10-yard line.
For a guy that hates that zone defense to play against, that Paul Warfield can really split those gaps. Did a great job on that one.
Greasy to Warfield, 39 yards, first and goal. Dolphins at the Houston 10. Moving to the east end zone. Kick and Zonka, the I-backs, in behind Greasy. Briscoe splits to the near side. Greasy long count, spins, pitches to Kick. Slant to the right, over the right side, down to the 5, the 4, digging, and he's going to be gang tackled at about the 4-yard line. Elvin Bethea, the 265-pound right end. Mike Tilleman, 275-pound left tackle, makes the stop. And they put the ball down at about the 4-yard line, so it'll be a second down and goal from just inside the 4. Mandich comes in to give the Dolphins more blocking up front, teaming up with Fleming, and Briscoe is out. Ball is just inside the Houston 4.
Kick made that all on individual effort, Rick. There was nobody blocking for him. It broke down, so he cut to the inside and almost got across.
All right, second down and goal for the Dolphins at the Houston 4-yard line. Kick and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Greasy. Driving toward the east end zone. Greasy spins, hands to Zonk over the right side. He's dragging tacklers with him. In for the score goes Larry Zonka as he threaded his way over the right side and had a couple of blue shirts hanging around his neck. But that's common for him, and carried him a yard into the end zone for the touchdown. George Webster and Ron Pritchard were the two guys, the linebackers, that he carried in. So the Dolphins have scored again. The handkerchiefs are out, and it's a 19-0 ball game with 8 minutes and 38 seconds. For you people who are unfamiliar with the handkerchiefs, we started this last year. Every time the Dolphins score, we've asked our people listening on transistors here in the Orange Bowl to wave their white handkerchiefs, and this has become the Dolphin battle flag. Garo Yepremian, who missed the last time, is in to try the point. Morrill holds. The kick is up, and it is good. With 8 minutes and 38 seconds left to go in this first half, the Dolphins have moved out to a 20-0 lead, and that one was keyed off that punt. Poor field position by the Houston Oilers, and the Dolphins started back at their 46. A 54-yard drive with Zonka going over from 4 yards out. So Kick has scored on a 1-yard run, Morris on a 2-yard run, and Zonka gets his second touchdown of the season on a 4-yard run. The score now 20-0.
Rick, that's a 3-back concept where you get all 3 of them to score.
That's a good point. Henry?
Rick, we've been noticing that Bob Greasy's doing a different style of handing off because of this wet ball. He holds it almost cradled in his arm when he hands off, so there'll be no chance of any more fumbles in the handoff from the quarterback to the running back.
All right, Garo will kick off down to receive the kick, as they have been numerous times this afternoon. Willie Rogers, number 34, the rookie from Kentucky State, down the near side, and Benny Johnson off to the far side. Here is the whistle. Yepremian forward, gets his toe into it. It's high. Not too deep. Over to Johnson's side. He grabs it at the 2, out to the 5, the 10 in the middle of the field, the 15. And is he cracked? Holy Toledo, the Dolphins leaping all over the place. Over blockers, and they really clotheslined him at the 17-yard line. Lloyd Mumford and Hubert Ginn, who really like to hit people, and who have been stars of the Dolphins suicide squad for the last couple of years, make the tackle on the play. A 16-yard return, and once again, Pastorini has bad field position. Henry?
Hubert Ginn got a big hug from Don Shula when he came off the field because of that tackle.
Johnson and Granger are the split backs in behind Pastorini. The ball up there, 17. First down for the Oilers, who trailed 20-0. Play fake, fires a pass, and the receiver fell down. There's a flag down at the line of scrimmage. Al Johnson, out of the backfield, was the intended receiver, Mike Colon, and he collided the Dolphins' weak side linebacker, and the ball was overthrown. A holding call is going to be the infraction as the flag was tossed back at the 12-yard line. The clock is stopped with the penalty. The Dolphins lead 20-0 with 8:11 to go in this first half. And the Dolphins put in Bob Matheson now as we go into our 53 prevent defense. Penalty is declined. Offensive holding against the Oilers declined by the Dolphins. They'll take the down. Henry?
Penalty called on number 64 guard Ron Saul.
You'll find quite a bit of that holding when you get down here where you got your back up against the wall and you know that you're going to throw that ball and you're behind 20 points. So we may see a little bit more of it.
All right, Ken Burrow back in the ball game. Splits off the near side. Charlie Joyner is the wide receiver right. Rajay and Johnson are the split backs behind Pastorini. 2nd and 10. Houston from their 17. Pastorini back to throw. Fires way over the head of the receiver Joyner on the far sideline. Out of bounds, incomplete. Charlie Joyner, the intended receiver. Pastorini has been off the mark this afternoon, seeming from here to throw the ball a little bit high, perhaps having to hurry his throws. 3rd down and 10. For the Oilers, who have had no field position to speak of at all this afternoon, their best weapon has been the punt. And they even fumbled one of those. Joyner splits to the far side, Burrow to the near side. Johnson and Granger, the split backs, behind Pastorini. He's back to throw on 3rd and 10. Swings one out. Granger juggles the ball, has got it, and is thrown at the 15-yard line for a loss of a couple of yards. Out of bounds here on the near side of the field. Good defensive play by Bob Matheson of the Dolphins defense. So once again, they are forced into a punting situation. Henry?
Rick, you mentioned that Pastorini was having trouble throwing. I recall the first time Bob Greasy played in the Astrodome, he had trouble hitting his receivers because they play on a totally flat field. This field has an 18-inch crown. That may be giving Pastorini some trouble.
All right, Pastorini will stand back at the goal line as they put the ball down at the 15. Lee is the deep man, Anderson the shallow man. Once again, the Dolphins should come out of this with excellent field position. A wobbly snap from center. He has time, gets it high, hangs it up there. Charlie Lee grabs the ball, a fair catch at the Dolphins' 42-yard line. A fine punt that time under the circumstances by Pastorini as he booms it out of there for 43 yards. Last week, he punted 7 times for a 50.5-yard average. So the Dolphins will have good field position from our 42 to start this drive with 7:14 left to play in the half. Got 2 touchdowns off Houston fumbles. Excellent field position in the first quarter. A 54-yard drive, 4 plays. Zonka running over from 4 yards out here in the second quarter. Dolphins lead by a score of 20-0. Greasy drops to throw on 1st down. Looks and is hit from behind back at the 38 as his protection just folded into the screen. Mike Tilleman came barging in there. Greasy perhaps had a hole to run with the ball. Morris was open down the near side, but he apparently didn't see him, so it winds up a 4-yard loss. It'll be 2nd down and 14.
That's the first time in the last 2 games, Rick, that we've seen Langer fall down. Actually, that was Langer's man.
Well, he probably slipped as everybody else is doing out here. 6 minutes and 49 seconds left to go in the first half, and it's still showering here at the Orange Bowl. Dolphins moving from our left to our right. Lead 20-0. Warfield splits left. Briscoe to the near side. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Greasy. 2nd down and 14 from the Dolphins' 38-yard line. Bob on the snap. Hands to Morris. Counter sweep to the left side. Still trying to get the corner turn. He slips, and he goes down back at the 33-yard line. His footing went out from under him, and he was unable to turn the corner. Ron Pritchard, the middle linebacker, and Phil Croyle, playing at the weak side linebacker spot, made the tackle on the play. But he never did get the corner turn because he just didn't have the footing. So it's a loss of 5 back to the Dolphins' 33, and it'll be a 3rd down coming up. And 19, an obvious passing situation, so they bring in an extra defensive back as Webster is out and Bob Atkins comes in. Let's see if Greasy, in fact, does pass. The ball at the Dolphins' 33, 3rd down and 19. 5:50 left to go in the first half. Dolphins with a 20-0 lead. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Greasy. On 3rd down, Bob has been great in converting this year. Hand off. Here's the end around with Warfield. He shakes off one tackler back at the 25, gets to the 30, and is knocked down at the 32. Leo Brooks, defensive tackle, contained that play. And the man who made the stop was Brooks, along with Pat Holmes. They were looking for the flanker back around. Warfield coming off his wide receiver spot to the far side, coming to the near side. And it didn't work. They wound up losing another yard. So for the first time, Seipel comes in to kick.
That end around will only work, Rick, if that defensive end really follows and goes down the line. If he penetrates straight across, he's going to mess it up. And that's exactly what he did on that play.
All right, the line of scrimmage on the punt. Dolphins 32. Seipel stands back at the 17. Ken Houston with a 10-point return average is a single safety back for the Houston Oilers. Here's the snap to Seipel. He gets it out of there. Got a good rush, too. Hangs it up there. Houston over, makes a fair catch at the 37-yard line back in Oiler territory. So that's about the best field position they've had this afternoon. And this is where they'll put the ball in play as Pastorini comes in and tries to get some offense generated from the Houston Oiler 37-yard line. Waiting for the snap from center as Pastorini has his ball club set from the 37. He drops to throw, fires the sideline pass, incomplete to Burrow at the 44-yard line. Right on top of him was defensive back Curtis Johnson. Pass incomplete, hit him in the hands, and just dropped away. 4 minutes, 21 seconds left to go in the first half. The rain continues to fall here. The Dolphins lead 20-0 with 4:21 to go in the half. Henry?
Rick, that pass was right in front of me. You could hear it when it hit. It sounded like there was a layer of water between the football and Burrow's hands. It's just like a slap of a wet balloon or something.
Sounded probably like a pumpkin dropping at the state fair and splattering all over the floor. 2nd down and 10. Here is Pastorini on the play action draw play. Hands off to Granger. Slants in across the left side. Gets to the 40-yard line. A gain of about 3. Mike Colon, along with Nick Bonaconte, make the stop on the play. It'll be a 3rd down coming up for Houston, a very inept-looking offensive team, just across their 40-yard line. This is the best field position they've had all day with 3:58 left to go in the half. Joyner splits left. Burrow splits to the far side. Johnson and Granger, the I-backs, in behind Pastorini. Now they split off. 3rd down and 7. Houston from their 40-yard line. Pastorini, long count at the line of scrimmage, dropping to throw. Has time. Now it's going to break down. He's going to run with the ball, and he's not going to get any place. Gets right back to the line of scrimmage. The Dolphins' rush finally penetrated through the blocking. Bob Matheson was in there to make the stop on the play, along with Vern Denherter. So that brings up a punt situation. His pass protection just faded away to nothingness.
This is a part of this 53 defense that we're reading so much about, Rick, where you put in Matheson, and Matheson can either rush the pass or else he can drop back and cover as a linebacker. This time he elected to rush, threw him for the loss.
All right, Charlie Lee is deep. Dick Anderson shallow. Pastorini stands back at the 25. Line of scrimmage to Houston 41. As again, the umpteenth time in this first half, the Dolphins defense stopped him. Here's the snap. He gets it out of there, and boom's a beauty. A long, high spiral. Charlie Lee way back at about the 7, juggles the ball around, looks for a hole, comes up the near side of the 10, and he's dropped right there. A fumble! And they blew it dead. The ball squirted loose after the play had been blown dead. It was recovered by Jim Byrne, the Houston specialty team, but the play had been blown dead, so Lee runs it back out to the 10. A 52-yard punt that time by Pastorini, a beauty.
Rick, that ball must really be slick. Pastorini almost fumbled on the snap back from the center on the punt, and then almost fumbled it when he received it back there on the punt and almost had a fumble.
So the Dolphins will start from our 10-yard line with 2 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the half. Zonka and Kick will be the running backs. Greasy the quarterback. Briscoe and Warfield the wide receivers. Marv Fleming the tight end. First down, Dolphins from our 10-yard line. Zonka slot man left as Warfield splits left. Briscoe to the near side. And now Zonka sets back in as a split back with Kick. Here's the pitch. Loose ball on the field. Kick picks it up. Still loose. Goes out of bounds. And let's see who's going to get it at the 15-yard line. If the ball is in Miami's possession when it goes out of bounds, it's their ball. And apparently that's what the officials will rule. The pitch, and Kick never saw it. It rolled loose on the ground and went out of bounds at the 15-yard line. And so the Dolphins retain possession as, again, the slippery condition of the ball is a factor. They're wiping it off, and they'll put it down just about at the 15-yard line, so they pick up 5 yards on that screwy play. It'll be second down coming up, and 5. Dolphins retain possession. Anytime the ball is in the possession of the team, that of course, has the football and goes out of bounds, why you retain possession. 2nd down and 5. Dolphins from our 15-yard line. Here's the handoff. Zonk on the trap, hits the hole across the 20, 25. Gets out to about the 28-yard line. Ken Houston, the strong safety, coming over to make the tackle on the play, and that is good for a Dolphin first down. Zonka carries on a big hole over the right side. And there is the 2-minute warning, ladies and gentlemen. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl. The score, our Dolphins 20 and the Oilers nothing. Rick Weaver, Lou Crickmer, and Henry Barrow back at the Orange Bowl. We have 2 minutes to go in the half. Dolphins lead 20-0. Everybody slipping and sliding all over this polyturf out here in a rainy afternoon. Fumbles have been a factor. The Dolphins have scored off 2 of them. And we now have a first down at our 26-yard line. That's where they ruled the ball was dead on Zonka's carry. Kick and Zonka are the I formation backs in behind Greasy with a first down from our 26-yard line. Briscoe split off to the far side of the field. Greasy spins, hands to Zonka, hole on the right side, and carries tacklers with him across the 30 out to about the 32-yard line. Ron Pritchard, the middle linebacker, along with Phil Croyle, playing at a strong side linebacker spot. 6-yard pickup. It'll be a 2nd down and 4. The Dolphins' running game has been very good this afternoon, and the Houston defense has had all the pressure on it because of all the offensive mistakes. Warfield splits left, Briscoe to the near side. 2nd down and 4. Dolphins from the 32. Counter play. Zonka, big hole in the middle, slips and falls, and gets to the 35-yard line. George Webster contained him at the 35-yard line. As he started to make his cut, he slipped and fell. So it's not a sea of mud, but just a sea of water out there. Miami has called a timeout. Briscoe comes out, and Mandich comes in to give them the power blocking up front with a 3rd and 1 at their 35.
Rick looking down at the shoes that Zonka's got on. He's got that sneaker on his left foot, and he's got a cleated shoe on his right foot. Trying everything to stay up.
Including the point he made after the first touchdown today, Garo Yepremian had been successful on 75 consecutive extra point attempts in his career with the Dolphins, including regular season and playoff competition. So there's the answer to that question. He missed, had it blocked, partially blocked, the extra point attempt on that second touchdown. 1 minute, 22 seconds to go in this first half. Dolphins with a 20-0 lead. 3rd down and 1 from our 35-yard line. Kick and Zonka remain the running backs as Greasy brings his ball club out of the huddle. Airtime next week from Minnesota against the Vikings on WIOD, and these network stations will be at 3:50 Eastern time. Greasy on a 3rd and 1. Hands off to Zonk, slips, and he is dropped for a loss at the 34-yard line. Coming to the near side, Ron Pritchard. He slipped when he started. He just could not get any traction off on the handoff, and consequently his blockers were out in front of him, and he's thrown for a yard loss, and Seipel comes in, the punting unit. Henry?
Zonka has always been the most vocal opponent of artificial turf, but he was really mad when he fell there. Slammed the football into the turf, disgusted look on his face, walked off the field really mad. He hates artificial turf, loves real grass on a rainy day, by the way, loves the mud and grime of real dirt and grass.
Al Johnson and Ken Houston are back to field the punt. The line of scrimmage, the Dolphins 34, Larry Seipel with a 41-yard average standing at the 19. He gets a beauty out of there. Long spiral. Grabbed by Houston back at the 22. At the Houston 22, he is knocked down at the 25-yard line. A 3-yard return. He looked like he might have been hesitating as to whether or not to cut because of the slippery condition. Hubert Ginn again was down to lead the tackling unit and made the stop. A return of 3 yards. As Seipel got an excellent kick out of there.
To carry on with what Henry was saying about Zonka, Zonka came off on the sidelines and pounded his headgear down there on the bench, and he's really upset. He's really fussing over there at himself for not making that first down.
All right, Pastorini from the 25 on first down, drops to throw, swings a little pass out, a screen to Houston, and he's dumped way back at the 15-yard line by Manny Fernandez, who smelled the screen all the way that time. Manny Fernandez was through there and drops Johnson, the recipient of the pass, for a 10-yard loss back to the 15-yard line. Houston, with just 10 seconds to go, calls a timeout to stop the clock. Here before the end of the half, the Dolphins have have just dominated this ball game. Houston has not been able to figure out the turf. They've not been able to figure out their own offense. And the ball is marked at the 16-yard line, so while they're back discussing things, we'll set the offensive lineup for you. Johnson and Granger are the running backs. Burrow and Joyner are the wide receivers. Pastorini is the quarterback. Second down and 19 from their 16-yard line. Here's the handoff. Granger, a hold on the right side of the 20 and is knocked down at the 25-yard line. Picks up 9. They call timeout once again. Houston does, to stop the clock with 5 seconds to go in the first half. Dolphins with a 20-0 lead. Dick Anderson made the tackle on that last play. The Dolphins will not return home until October the 15th when they engage the San Diego Chargers here. And in between, 2 formidable opponents, the Minnesota Vikings next Sunday at Bloomington Stadium in Bloomington, Minnesota. Airtime for that one on these stations, 3:50. And then the following week, Joe Willie and the Jets from Shea Stadium in New York. The ball is at the 25-yard line in Houston territory with 5 seconds showing on the clock. When time is back in, they'll have a 3rd down and 10 situation. The Chargers, incidentally, have not played here since 1969. And tickets for that game may be obtained at Gate 14 at the Orange Bowl in Fort Lauderdale Stadium 7 days a week between 10 in the morning and 6 in the evening. This will probably be the last play of this first half as Pastorini hands off to Granger. He slides across the right side, gets a yard before he is stacked up with white jerseys, and that's all. That's the end of the first half. With the score, our Dolphins 20, the Houston Oilers nothing. And Mercury Morris and Charlie Lee are back down underneath the east goal post to take the opening kickoff of the second half. Dolphins out in front by a score of 20-0. Houston has not been in the Dolphins' end of the ballpark and have only 1 first down in the first half. Here is the kickoff. It is high. It is not too deep. It'll be grabbed over there by Charlie Lee at the 2-yard line, out across the 10. Hurdles a tackler, still going across the 20, and is gang tackled out at about the 24-yard line. Charlie Lee returns 22 yards, and the tackle on the play made by Willie Rogers of the specialty squad for the Oilers. So the Dolphins will begin an operation from their 24. Let's pause for station identification on the Miami Dolphins Football Network.
Drive a new and different car every 6 months. William Lehman Leasing makes it possible. Call William Lehman Leasing for details.
WIOD Miami.
Greasy, the quarterback, has Morris and Zonka in the eye. Warfield splits to the near side, Briscoe to the far side. First down, Dolphins from our 24-yard line. Here's the handoff to Mercury, cuts outside of the right. He almost slipped. Probably did, because he did not hesitate just a moment behind the blocking when he went to make his cut. He gets to the 25-yard line, and his feet went out from under him. George Webster, from the weak side linebacker spot, makes the tackle on the play. Just across the 25. We'll call it a gain of a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
This turf has got to be upsetting guys like Morris and Zonka down there. Rick, you only have a certain period of time to hit that hole, and all of a sudden it closes up. And if they can't get traction, they just can't hit their hole.
Briscoe splits to the far side, Warfield to the near side. Zonka and Morris, the split blacks, in behind Greasy. 2nd down and 9. Dolphins from our 25. Hand off to Mercury. Hole left side. Finds the room. 30, 35, 40, 45, and he's dragged down at the 50-yard line. George Webster got him from behind, a huge hole over the left side, and he just cut to the sidelines down the near side and rambles 25 yards to the 50-yard line before Webster brought him down. Mercury Morris, rambling as only he can, picks up a first down at the midfield stripe. Mandich is in, Fleming is out. Here's Henry Barrow.
Fleming came out because he got his right ankle banged. He was limping off the field. They're checking it right now.
Dolphins have a first down at the midfield stripe with 13:20 left to go in the third period. Score 20-0. Dolphins out in front. Briscoe splits off the far side. Warfield to the near side. Morris and Zonka are the setbacks, the splitbacks behind Greasy from the 50-yard line. Greasy on the snap, gives to Morris through the middle. He slides down to the Houston 46-yard line, and that's literally what he did. Pat Holmes, the defensive end, is the fellow who makes the tackle. They put it down at the 47, so give him a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7. Mercury comes out, and Jim Kick goes into the ball game. And a running back spot. Morris, Zonka, and Kick have scored the touchdowns. for the Dolphins this afternoon. A 2nd down and 7 from the Houston 47. Warfield left, Briscoe right. Grease up under center, waits for the snap. From the Houston 47-yard line, drops to throw, sets, firing for the near side. Warfield's got it, and he could not hold on to the ball. It's incomplete. He slipped and fell as he hit the turf at the 38-yard line on a pattern, an out pattern down the near side, so that's ruled incomplete. Henry?
It's not Fleming's ankle they're working on, it's his big toe. His big toe got stepped on rather savagely, according to Marvin.
3rd down and 7. Dolphins ball at the Houston 47-yard line. As the weather conditions and the turf have made this a very difficult ball game for either team to play. Out of the huddle they come. Briscoe splits to the far side. Mandich is the tight end. Zonka sets as a slot man right. Kick is the running back behind Greasy, and Warfield is split to the near side. Bob on 3rd down drops to throw. He sets. Now he's going to have to scramble. He fires. It is caught by Mandich. 35, 30. And he is really hit over the far sideline at the 25-yard line. Willie Alexander, the cornerback, makes the tackle. Mandich was standing out there all alone. Greasy looking upfield down the left side. Couldn't find anybody open. He scrambled to his right and found Mandich open in the middle. And so Mandich rambles the ball down to the 25-yard line. A 22-yard pass completion. And the Dolphins have a 1st down, and they put it down at the 24.
That offensive line is working better all the time. They're building that pocket up there so Bob could step up and still had time to throw that ball.
The ball at the Houston 24-yard line. Kick and Zonka, the I formation backs behind Greasy. Briscoe splits off the far side. Waiting for the snap from center. Here's the handoff. Trap up the middle. Zonka hole down across the 20 to the 15-yard line. He makes his own hole when there isn't one. The hole jammed in a hurry at the line of scrimmage, but he just put his head down and rammed his way down to the 15. The tackle by cornerback Benny Johnson. A gain of 9. It'll be 2nd down and about a yard for a Dolphin 1st down at the Houston 15.
Zonka's mad with his footing, Rick, and I'll tell you, I'd hate to be the guy getting in front of him.
All right, out of the huddle they come. They set Warfield and Briscoe as double wide receivers off to the near side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs behind Greasy. 2nd and 1 from the Houston 15-yard line. Somebody jumps, gets back. Here's the handoff to Kick. He's got the 1st down, threads his way through the middle to the 10-yard line, perhaps inside the 10 to the 9. George Webster from the linebacker spot makes the tackle for Houston. A gain of 6 yards on the play, and the Dolphins have picked up a 1st down and goal situation. The ball is at the 9.5-yard line. Billingsley is out at a defensive tackle, or is in rather, and Leo Brooks is out for Houston. Billingsley is the biggest man on the field at 6'8", 270, a 6-year veteran from the University of Wyoming. And he and Kick were teammates out there. Briscoe splits off the far side. 1st and goal for the Dolphins. The ball at the 9-yard line, we'll call it. On the snap, the handoff goes to Kick through the middle. He's down inside the 5 to the 2-yard line. Jim Kick with great blocking up front from Little, Langer, and Kuchenberg gets down to about the 2. The tackle made by strong safety Ken Houston and the free safety John Charles. Marv Fleming comes back in now to give the Dolphins more blocking up front. And there's a Houston man shaken up on the play. Alvin Bethea, defensive end. Wayne Moore is out at offensive tackle, and Doug Crusan comes in for the Dolphins, and Fleming and Mandich are the tight ends. Crusan is in the ball game now. He was just activated before the Kansas City game last week. Wayne Moore appeared to be limping as he came off the field for the Dolphins. Perhaps Henry Barrow could check that out, but Crusan is back in there where he stayed all last year as the starting offensive left tackle. The ball is down at the 2-yard line. Bethea is being helped off the field to the far side. Henry?
It's not a limp that's bothering Wayne Moore. It's his right shoulder that the doctor is working on.
The ball is at the 2-yard line. The Dolphins have a 2nd down and 2 to go for a touchdown. 10 minutes, 2 seconds to play in this 3rd quarter. And we have a 20-0 lead. Al Aldrich, a 2-year man, 6'6", 250 from Prairie View, is in to replace Bethea. All right, we're ready to go. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Greasy. 2nd and goal from the Houston 2-yard line. Bob up under center. Fakes the handoff, sprints back to his left. He's going to run the ball. He scores! Larry Little and Larry Zonka were out in front as Greasy appeared to fake the handoff, held the ball on the hip, just rambled to his left, and behind the blocking of Little and Zonka, ran 2 yards on the sweep to the left side and into the end zone. So everybody in the backfield has now scored. this afternoon. Morrill in the hole as Yepremian will try the point from placement. Howard Kindig is in to snap it for the Dolphins. Waiting for the snap. Here it is, set down. The kick is up. And it's good with 9:38 left to go in this third quarter. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score. Our Dolphins 27, Houston nothing. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Yepremian has the ball up on the tee. The Dolphins 27-0. Here is the kickoff. It is high. It is not too deep. Willie Rogers grabs it, fumbles the ball. It's still loose. Picks it up to 7. Out to the 10, the 15. He is cracked at the 20-yard line. And that's all the farther he goes. Jesse Powell in there to nail him. Henry?
Wayne Moore just got a bruise on the shoulder when he and Buffet just played football and went at each other, and Wayne Moore won. Wayne's shoulder's just a little bit bruised. He'll be back in.
They put the ball at the 19, so that's where the Oilers will start. That drive of Greasy, 76 yards, 9 plays. He scores on a 2-yard run, and the Dolphins have a 27-0 lead. Johnson and Granger are the I formation backs in behind Pastorini. Houston operating from their 19-yard line. Pastorini spins, play fakes, fires a screen out here to the near side. Charlie Joyner fumbles the ball, a flag down, picks it up, and he is hit and dropped at the 21. He picked it up. They're going to rule it an incomplete forward pass or not. Anyway, flags are down, and the officials will have a decision to make here. A clipping call is the initial infraction. There were 2 flags thrown, clipping against the Houston Oilers. Mike Colin is the man who was clipped for the Dolphins. And they're going to rule it from the 17-yard line. He dropped the ball, picked it up, and started to run with it. And was nailed back at the 21-yard line, but the clipping infraction sets the ball for the Oilers back at their 8-yard line. Henry?
Clipping was called on Leverett Carr, the tackle, number 63. And by the way, I think Monty Clark is going to employ substitutions next time the offense goes in. I believe we'll see Jenkins and Crusan stay in.
All right, Houston's ball now with a first down and 21 back at their 8-yard line. Burrow and Joyner are the wide receivers. Pastorini at quarterback from the 8. Hands off to Hoyle Granger over the left side, and he gets to the 10, maybe the 11, and that's all. Jim Dunaway tossed his 277 pounds in there to fill up the hole for the Dolphins. A 10-year man from Ole Miss, Manny Fernandez, also in on the tackle. They put the ball down at the 11. It'll be a second down at 18. Burrow is out, Rhett Dawson is in, and a wide receiver for the Houston Oilers. They have not been in Dolphin territory all afternoon. Joyner splits to the near side. Dawson, the wide receiver, split to the far side. Johnson and Granger, the split backs behind Pastorini, second and long yardage. He drops the throw, fires the short hook pattern, and it's caught. And the man who caught it is Johnson, and he's dropped immediately at the 18-yard line. A 7-yard pickup, tackled by Mike Colin and Nick Bonaconti for the Dolphins. A 7-yard pickup on the play, and it'll be a third down coming up, and about 11 yards to go for a Houston first down. The ball out at the Houston 18-yard line. They got only 1 first down, 26 yards total offense in the first half, and we're a -10 in passing. The rain is falling a little harder now. Dawson splits left, Joyner to the near side. Granger and Johnson are the split backs behind Pastorini. 3rd and 11 from the 18. Pastorini waits for the snap from center. He's got it, drops to throw. Being rushed by Fernandez. He eludes him, fires the ball upfield, flags down, caught by Joyner. 35, he might go the distance. 50, 45, down to the 35, 30, 25, 20, 15 to the 10, 5. A touchdown, but there is a flag back at the 30-yard line. Pastorini out of a scramble situation. Fernandez had a hand on him, but couldn't hold him. And he rolled out to his right and threw a desperation pass, hit Joyner in the middle of the field. And the touchdown will stand up. The flag, the penalty, apparently against the Dolphins, and so the Oilers get on the board with a 72-yard scoring play. Check it, 82 yards. The pass from Pastorini to Charlie Joyner, the 4-year wide receiver from Grambling, and he just outran the defenders after he caught the ball. And down the far sidelines, Pastorini will hold, and Skip Butler will try the point from placement. 82 yards from Pastorini to Charlie Joyner. Here's the snap, set down, the kick is up, and it is no good. Off to the right side. Nobody got a hand on that one. He just plain missed it. So with 7:24 left to play in this third quarter, Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with a score. Our Dolphins 27 and the Oilers 6. This is Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Butler gets the kickoff high. It's not deep. Mercury Morris at the 5, out straight ahead, 10, 15 to the 20. He is run into at the 24-yard line and downed right there by Garland Boyette, who used to be the middle linebacker for this Houston team. Morris returns it out to the 24. The score 27-6. That penalty against the Dolphins on that long pass completion for the Houston touchdown was on Doug Swift for holding. And, of course, Houston declined it. Play covered 82 yards. Pass Torini to Charlie Joyner for the TD. Otto Stowe and Howard Twilley are the wide receivers for the Dolphins as they go to work here. Leading 27-6. Zonka and Morris are the running backs, the split backs in behind Greasy. First down, Dolphins from our 24. 6:58 to go in the third quarter. 27-6 is the score as Butler missed the extra point. Hand off to Zonka, sweep to the right, trying to get outside and is run out of bounds at the 25-yard line on the far side of the field. Willie Alexander, the cornerback, refused to be taken out that time by Larry Little and made the tackle on the play. Henry?
We got an injury on that kickoff to rookie linebacker Larry Ball. It appears to be his left shoulder. They're working on it now. He's in great pain.
A second down and 9 situation as Zonka gets only a yard. Dolphins football at our 25-yard line. Tim Foley had a chance for an interception on that pass. Pastorini got the ball up in the air and just over the outstretched fingertips of Foley into Joyner's hands. Howard Twilley is split off to the far side. Zonka and Morris in an eye in behind Greasy. Second down and 9. Dolphins from our 25-yard line. Bob waits for the snap. Here it is. The pitch to Mercury. Juggles the ball. Holds onto it. Tries to sweep to the left side and is knocked down here on the near side of the field at the 26-yard line. A gain of only a yard. The weak side linebacker Phil Croyle played it perfectly. Refused to give up any yards. And so it's a gain of a yard again. Third down and 8.
Rick, it's almost impossible to turn the end down here because of this water all over the sidelines. When you come around from the middle of the field where you got the crown, it's just soaked down there and you just can't get any footing whatsoever.
Third down and 8. Dolphins ball at our 26-yard line. Greasy, who has played all the way, is at quarterback. He sets Zonka as the slot right. Twilley is split to the right side. Stowe to the near side. Morris, the back in behind Greasy. Third down. Here's a handoff. Drop play to Mercury in the middle. Fumble at the Dolphins' 26-yard line. Houston recovers the ball. Ron Billingsley, the gigantic right tackle, as they did a little searching operation that time, realizing that the ball is hard to hold on to. They search Morris. He fumbles the ball. Billingsley comes up with it, and the Oilers have the football at the Dolphins' 25-yard line. Henry?
Larry Ball has been taken to the dressing room. They're going to x-ray his left shoulder.
All right, Houston comes up with a break now, just as the Dolphins did in the first quarter. Ken Burrow is the wide receiver split left. Granger and Johnson, the split backs in behind Pastorini. Houston's ball at the Dolphin 25-yard line. Following that fumble recovery. Weather conditions are the factor. Here's the handoff. Granger hits the middle, falls down at the 24-yard line. After a gain of about a yard, Nick Molicante falls on top of him. 5 minutes, 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter. The score 27-6. We've had 2 extra points missed, one from each side this afternoon. Fumbles, slips have really been a factor. The Colts lead the Jets 10-6 in the first quarter. The ball at the Dolphins' 24-yard line. Second down and 8. Granger sets as a slot man left along with Reed. Burrow is split left. Joyner is a wide man to the near side. Here is Pastorini dropping to throw. Has time now. Fernandez after him. He gets him. He gets away. He's caught again. Now scrambling down to the 20. Still running with the football to the 15. He is hit and finally dropped at the 11-yard line. Everybody on the football team had a shot at him. Fernandez, as he did earlier, broke through, but he couldn't hold him. And Pastorini's a big back. He's 6'3", weighs 200 pounds, and he runs it for a first down. Down to the 11-yard line. Dick Anderson finally had to make the tackle. So Pastorini shows his running ability and picks up a first down at the Dolphin 11. With 4:34 left to go in the third quarter, Dolphins lead 27-6. Rhett Dawson in the ball game. He splits left, Joyner to the near side. Willie Rogers and Granger are the split backs. In behind Pastorini. Here's the fake pitch. Back to throw. Goes Pastorini. Swings the screen out. Granger at the 15. 10 down the near side. 5. He's knocked out at the 1-yard line. Hoyle Granger. Tackled by Foley, the left cornerback. And that's going to be close to a first down. The officials are calling a time to get the exact position of the football down here at the east end of the field. And the ball is at the 1. It appears from here as if they do have a first down. They do. First down for the Oilers off the completed screen to Granger. First and goal at the Dolphins' 1-yard line. This was set up on a recovered fumble. Mercury Morris was searched at the line of scrimmage. Billingsley came up with the ball, and Pastorini has maneuvered his ball club where they're knocking on the door. Willie Rogers and Granger are the running backs. 4 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Dolphins 27, Oilers 6. They set in an I. Got the two tight ends in for the blocking. Granger and Rogers set in an I in behind Pastorini. First and goal from the 1-yard line. Here's the handoff. Willie Rogers, he hits for that end zone, and he's in there for the score. Rogers, between center and guard over the right side, gets in for the touchdown. And it's now a 27-12 ball game, as Butler will come back in to try the point from placement. He missed the first opportunity this afternoon. And Pastorini, who does everything on this ball club but blow up the football, will stay in the hold for him. 3 minutes, 43 seconds left to play in this third quarter. The Dolphins lead now down to 27-12. As Houston held to just one first down and 26 yards in total offense in the first half, have really come back. Here's the snap, set down, the kick is up, and it is good. Dolphin football action continues from the Orange Bowl with the score, our Dolphins 27, the Oilers 13. Rick Weaver, Luke Riekmer, Henry Barrow back at the very wet Orange Bowl this afternoon. Butler will kick off. Charlie Lee and Mercury Morris deep. It's now 27-13. Here is the boot. He gets it deep this time. Way back in the end zone as Lee fumbles the ball, goes out of play outside of the end zone. It's a touchback, and the Dolphins will start from our 20-yard line. With 3 minutes and 37 seconds left to play in this third quarter, the Dolphins, who had a 20-0 lead at halftime, now find it has dwindled down to 27-13. That last drive, 26 yards off the fumble recovery, 4 plays. Rogers scored from 1 yard out. Warfield and Twilley are the wide receivers. Kick and Zonka are the running backs behind Greasy. Dolphins first down from our 20-yard line as they're moving from our right to our left toward the west end of the field. Greasy up under center, calls the signals, waiting for the snap. Here it is. He drops to throw. Fires for the far sideline. It is caught, and down is Twilley at the 24 as he went out on a slant pattern, was hit with the pass, and was down on the field. Gain of about 4 on the pickup as Willie Alexander, the left cornerback, makes the tackle. Now they set it back to the 23-yard line, so he gets only 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7. Twilley splits off the right side. Warfield comes to the near side. Kick and Zonka. The split backs behind Greasy. Second and 7. Miami's ball at our 23-yard line. Greasy has had one long drive today of 79 yards. Here's the handoff. Zonka slices across the right side and gets to about the 27-yard line before he is knocked off his feet by Floyd Rice, the strong side linebacker, and Ron Pritchard, the middleman. We'll keep you abreast of other scores here as they're starting to come in now, and we'll have our scoreboard show for our Miami listeners immediately following the ball game and following the rolling home show.
Rick, it's really important that Bob Greasy control this ball on this series. He's got to use up some time. With these conditions here, he can't afford to give up that ball.
Third down and 4. Dolphins from our 27-yard line. Waiting for the snap. Greasy drops to throw on third down, fires for Warfield, and he is interfered with at the 40-yard line. That was so obvious. Benny Johnson was hanging all over him up at the 40-yard line. Warfield was the intended receiver on the slant over the middle, and Benny Johnson was just riding his back for dear life.
And Benny Johnson ought to receive an Academy Award for an actor on that one. He turned around and says, "Who, me?"
First down for the Dolphins on the pass interference call against Johnson and the Houston Oilers at the Dolphins' 40-yard line. Kick and Zonka remain as the running backs. Wayne Moore is back in at left offensive tackle for the Dolphins. Warfield splits to the near side. Howard Twilley off to the far side. First down, Dolphins at our 40-yard line. 2:12 left to go in the third quarter. Dolphins lead 27-13. Greasy on the snap. Hands to kick. Spreads his way on the counter across the right side. There is a fumble, and Houston recovers under the big pileup at about the 43-yard line. Kick was searched as he went into the ground. Boy, this is something else. George Webster, the linebacker, took it away from him, and all of a sudden Houston comes up with the football. Nobody can hold on to it, and it's hard to stand up because of the rainy weather, the slippery condition of the field, and the ball. So the Miami defense has the pressure again on them as Webster comes up with the football at the Dolphins' 43-yard line, and Houston, down by 14 points with 1:57 to go in the third quarter, are very much alive. Al Johnson, Hoyle Granger are the running backs. Jim Byrne is now into the wide receiver Waiting for the snap from center is Dan Pastorini, the second-year quarterback. Fakes the handoff, drops the throw. He fires for the near side. It is caught by Burrow, and he can't hold it. Incomplete as he slid out of bounds in a puddle of water down at the 28-yard line. The incompletion stops the clock with 1:39 to go in the third quarter. Second down and 10. Oilers ball at the Dolphins' 43. Jim Byrne is from Purdue, and he was Bob Greasy's principal pass receiver at Purdue during Greasy's career up there. Rhett Dawson is in. Burrow is out at a wide receiver for the Oilers. Second and 10 at the Dolphin 43. Ron J. and Johnson, the split backs behind Pastorini. Byrne splits right. Dawson off to the far side. Here's the snap, a fumble, and Pastorini, I believe, covers it himself. A slippery ball again on the snap from center. He recovered his own fumble back at the Dolphin 47, a loss of 4 yards, and he was fallen upon by Vern Denherter and Manny Fernandez. We have a change on that first quarter score. The Colts 7, Jets 6. Halftime, Pittsburgh 10, Cincinnati 3. Halftime, Cowboys 10, Giants 7. Halftime, Redskins 17, Cardinals 3. Give you some more in just a moment. Johnson and Granger, the split backs. Third down and 14. From the Dolphin 47, Pastorini drops to throw, fires. It is knocked away. A fine defensive play by Nick Bonaconti. The Dolphins' middle linebacker, who came sliding across the field and got his hands on it, knocked it away from the intended receiver, Al Johnson, down the near sidelines. So that brings up a fourth down, and let's see if they're going to entrust a field goal to Skip Butler, who missed an extra point earlier. 4th and 14. Charlie Lee is in to go back to field the punt. Apparently, they're going to kick the football, and Pastorini will punt. This will be a long attempt for anybody, regardless. Line of scrimmage, the Dolphins 47, and Pastorini standing back at the Oilers 38. Charlie Lee, Dick Anderson back to field the punt. Here's the snap. He gets a pretty good rush, gets it out of there. Wobbly high end over end kick. Charlie Lee fair catches the ball at the Dolphins' 7-yard line. So that's where they will start from. 51 seconds left to play in this third quarter. Dolphins out in front, 27-13. Other scores: Browns 20, Eagles 3 at the half. Oakland leads Green Bay 10-7 in the second quarter. San Francisco and Buffalo are tied 3-3 at the half. And that's all we have at the present time. Dolphins have the football at our 7-yard line, moving from our right to our left, the west end zone. Twilley and Warfield are the wide receivers. Greasy the quarterback. Mercury Morris and Larry Zonka the split backs behind Greasy. First and 10, Dolphins from their 7-yard line. 33 seconds to go in the third quarter. Hand off to Zonka. Puts his head down after trying to make a cut to his right. Comes back to the left and gets out to the 10-yard line. Ron Billingsley, defensive tackle, makes the stop. This Houston defense has managed to contain the Dolphin offense here in this second half, except for the drive, that 76-yard drive. 9 plays that Greasy scored on with a 2-yard run. Ball is up the 11-yard line. Second down and 6. Billy comes wide to the near side. And that's the end of the third quarter. Dolphin football action will continue from the Orange Bowl with the score: our Dolphins 27, Houston 13. The ball at the 11. We're ready to go in the fourth and final period. Warfield splits to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Morris and Zonka, the split backs, in behind Greasy on a second down and 6 for the Dolphins from our 11-yard line. Greasy on the snap, hands to Morris, cuts outside to his left. He gets the corner just barely turned, and the tackler, Ken Houston, the strong safety, the all-pro, refused to give up and just hung on and contains Mercury at the 12. So we get only a gain of a yard. It'll be third down and 5. Remember, you folks listening on WIOD, immediately following the ball game, the Roland Holmes Show with all of our live post-game interviews with the Dolphin players and coaches from our dressing room. From the Houston dressing room, Henry Barrow will be covering that action. Alabama with the Sky reports. And yours truly with the stats, anchoring the show up here. And then after that, we'll have scores of other games for you on our scoreboard show. A big play here. Third down and 5 for Greasy from our 12-yard line. Twilley right. Warfield off to the far side. Morris and Zonka split in behind Greasy. Greasy to throw. He fires for Warfield. He's got it, and out of bounds on the far side at the 22, a first down for the Dolphins. Benny Johnson, the quarterback, is the man who ran him out, but Paul was all alone over there, and Greasy just looked and fired. A 10-yard pickup, and the Dolphins now have a first down at our 22 and gives Bob a little bit more operating room. Henry?
We just got the official report on Larry Ball's injury. He has a sprained left shoulder.
I think he had one of those in the preseason at training camp one day and came back from it, so we hope it's not too serious. Morris, the slot man left. First down, Dolphins at our 22-yard line. Twilly right. Warfield splits off the far side. Greasy hands to Zonka. Puts his head down. Rams across the 25 out to the 30-yard line. Goes Larry Zonka. Tackled by Ken Houston. Zonka in the first half had a total of 39 yards rushing on 9 carries, and he has been a big factor with the Dolphin rushing game here in the second half. He got 118 yards last week. Pat Holmes is out, and Greg Sampson, a rookie from Stanford, 6'6", 260, wearing number 91, is in at a defensive end for Houston. Second down and 2. Dolphins ball at our 30-yard line. The officials want to dry off the football once again and get an interchange of balls. The rain has stopped, at least it appears so from up here, but it has been raining all afternoon. The field was soggy before the ball game started, and the slips and the fumbles, the wet condition of the football have really been a factor.
And I'm sure, Rick, that Art Spinney, the representative for Polyturf, is really feeling badly here. Now when it gets wet, everybody slips.
All right, a second down and 2. Dolphins ball at our 30-yard line. Warfield and Twilly, double wide receivers to the near side. Here's a handoff. Mercury Morris through a hole on the left side. First down. He drags tacklers with him out to the 35-yard line, and they just wedged for Mercury, and he just put his head on the tail end of Kuchenberg that time and just rammed his way for the first down. Ken Houston, along with Floyd Rice on the tackle for the Houston Oilers. Sampson is out, and Pat Holmes is back in at defensive end for the Oilers. The ball at the Dolphins 35, a first down for Miami. Greasy going into the ball control game now with 13 minutes, 4 seconds to go, a 27-13 lead. Airtime next week from Minnesota on WIOD and these network stations will be at 3:50 Eastern Time for the Vikings game. Greasy hands off to Morris, through a hole on the right side. He's in the open. 40, shakes the tackler, 45, and is dragged down from behind at the Dolphins' 46-yard line. Kenny Houston again. Little altercation down on the field as they began pushing and shoving each other. Morris found a hole on the right side and almost broke it. Had it not been for Houston, he grabbed onto the belt from behind. That's a first down for the Dolphins up to our 46-yard line. 11-yard scamper for Merck. So Greasy has the ball club in motion. 12 minutes, 36 seconds to play. Dolphins 27-13. Miami led 20-0 at the half. First down, Dolphins at our 46-yard line. Warfield goes as a wide receiver left. Willie sets to the near side. Morris, a slot man left, and Zonka in behind Greasy. Greasy on the snap. Drops to throw. Fires the swing pass out to Fleming. He's alone. 50, 45, 40. And he is knocked out of bounds along the near sideline at the Houston 38-yard line. Marv Fleming, the tight end, just came out, stood by himself. The defense was revolving to the other direction, and Fleming was all alone when he caught the ball, and he rambles for another first down to the Houston 38-yard line. The tackle by strong safety Ken Houston. 16 yards on the pass completion from Greasy to Marv Fleming, the tight end. Out of the huddle now come the Dolphins as Greasy has the ball club moving. First down at the Houston 38-yard line. Warfield splits to the far side. Twilly split a couple of yards off the tight end to the near side. Morris and Zonka in behind Greasy. He hands to Zonka. Zonka to the left, cuts back to his right, hurdles the tackler inside the 35, and he's down at the Houston 33-yard line. A gain of about 5 on the play. Alan Aldridge from a defensive end and tackle Ron Billingsley make the stop for the Oilers at their 33-yard line. It'll be a second down and 5, Dolphins football. Greasy playing like he likes to play now, eating up time and eating up yardage with the ball control.
77,821.
The attendance today, 77,821. That marks the 16th consecutive sellout for the Dolphins. Considering the weather, a beautiful turnout. All right, second down and 5. Greasy hands off Morris. Stutter step, big hole in the middle, 30, 25, down to the 22-yard line. Goes Mercury Morris. And another first down for the Dolphins.
And that Bob Greasy just calling a great game out here, Rick. He knew that Pritchard was going to shoot the gap on that. He called the same play a little while ago that Morris made that big gain on.
Benny Johnson from his cornerback spot had to make the tackle on the play. Here comes Jim Kickin for Merck in the Dolphins offensive backfield. And the fans are getting a chance to see, in given situations, how this three-back concept works this afternoon. First down for the Dolphins at the Houston 21-yard line. Warfield splits left. Twilly to the near side. Kick is a slot man left. Hand off to Zonka. Threads his way through a hole on the left side. Inside the 20 down to about the 17-yard line. Rambles Larry Zonka. Tackle on the play made by Ron Billingsley. along with Pat Holmes, a gain of 4. It'll be second down and 6.
A gain of 5.
Second down and 6 for the Dolphins at the 17-yard line in Houston territory. The Dolphins moving toward the east end of the field. We have 10 minutes, 28 seconds to go. 27-13, Dolphins out in front. Warfield splits left, fully to the near side. Kick again, a slot man to the left. Zonka sets in behind Greasy. From the Oilers' 17-yard line. Greasy on the snap, drops to throw. He's looking for Twilly. He fires. He's open. He can't hold it. He laid it in there right off his fingertips as Howard was diving on a slant-in pattern, a post pattern right in behind the goal post. And he just couldn't hold on. It bounced off of his fingertips. So it'll make it a third down and 6 as it's an incomplete pass. Willie Alexander, the cornerback, was beaten on the play. Third down and 6, Dolphins from the Oilers' 17-yard line. Dolphins do not return home until October the 15th against San Diego. Tickets on sale between now and then at gate 14 every day here at the Orange Bowl, Fort Lauderdale's Yankee Stadium, between the hours of 10 and 6. Warfield splits left, fully to the near side. Zonka, slot man left this time. Third and 6 from the Oilers' 17-yard line. Somebody jumps for Houston, gets back. Greasy drops to throw. He fires. It is caught by Kick, a little hook pattern at the 10-yard line, and he is hit and dropped immediately by Phil Croyle, the linebacker. That, however, is good for a first down. Kick out of the backfield, just hooked in and caught the pass, was hit and dropped immediately at the 10. A first down for the Dolphins. First and goal at the Oiler 10-yard line with 9 minutes, 45 seconds to play.
Rick Kuchenberg is sure earning his pay down there today with this Ron Billingsley. He is undoubtedly one of the biggest guys in the league, and Kuch has really had a time controlling him the entire day.
Warfield splits left, Twilly to the near side. Kick and Zonka, the split backs in behind Greasy. First and goal from the Oiler 10-yard line. As the sun begins to break through the clouds, hand off to Zonka, sweep to the right, turns the corner. He's down to the 6-yard line before he's knocked out of bounds here on the near side of the field by defensive end Pat Holmes. Henry?
We had a good view of that, Rick, and again, Larry Zonka lost his footing just as he turned around that corner, and he's got that disgusted look and slamming the ball down again. He doesn't like this turf.
Gain of 4 on the play. It'll be second down and goal from the 6-yard line. Billingsley comes out, and Leo Brooks goes in. He's a third-year man from the University of Texas on the goal line defense for the Oilers. 8:58 to go, and Greasy has used up a good 5 minutes here in this drive. Warfield splits left, Twilly to the near side. Kick and Zonka. The split backs behind Greasy. Second and goal from the Oilers' 6-yard line. On the snap, Greasy drops to throw. He fires left. Kick is down there. He's got it. The 2, the 1. He's in for the score. Jim Kick out of the backfield as the handkerchiefs come out in force this time. Kick out of the backfield. Hooked out to the left side, caught the ball at about the 2-yard line, and Greasy hit him right on the button. He beat the cornerback, Benny Johnson, on the right side and just rambled in for the score. Howard Kindig is in to snap. Morrill to hold, and Yepremian will try the point from placement. It's now 33-13 with 8:40 left to play in this ball game as Greasy used up a good 5 minutes on the clock on that ball control drive. Snap set down, the kick is up. And it is perfect. 8 minutes, 40 seconds left to play in the ball game. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score, our Dolphins 34, the Oilers 13. Rick Weaver back at the Orange Bowl. Benny Johnson, Willie Rogers deep to receive the kickoff from Garo Yepremian. He squibs one. It bounces at the 10. Picked up by Rogers at the 3, out to the 5, 10, 15 to the 20. Finds a hole in the middle up across the 30-yard line before he's knocked down at the 31. Willie Rogers with a good return that time. Garrow hit that ball a little high and squibbed it. Bounced at the 10, and Rogers picked it up back at the 3. Jesse Powell on the Dolphins specialty team makes the tackle. 34-13 is the score. The Dolphins with 8:25 to go. As the Oilers will operate from their 31, they have Rhett Dawson split off the right side, Byrne to the near side. Willie Rogers and Hoyle Granger are the backs. Pastorini, the quarterback. Rogers sets as a slot man to the near side. Pastorini has to put it in the air. Swings a pass to Granger. No flare pass. He catches it at the 27 and is belted out of bounds along the near sideline at the 33. Gain of only about 2. Mike Cullen, the weak side linebacker for the Dolphins, made the tackle on the play. It'll be a second down and 8. Airtime from Minnesota next Sunday, 3:50 along these stations. We hope that you'll be joining us for all the play-by-play action as the Dolphins run head-on into the Minnesota Vikings. Rhett Dawson splits to the far side. Jim Byrne to the near side. Second down and 8. Houston's ball up there, 33. Granger and Rogers, the split backs behind Pastorini. Fakes the handoff, drops the throw, has time. Now he's going to run with the ball. 35, 40, 45, and he hit. Holy Toledo, he was sandwiched. He fumbled the ball, but apparently got it back. That's the official signal at the 46-yard line. He was really ripped by Doug Swift and Jake Scott, linebacker and weak safety, respectively, and he was sandwiched in between the two of them, the old high-low, and they just about played wishbone with him. But he runs it out to the 46, and that's good for a Houston first down. They split Dawson off to the far side. To the near side comes Charlie Joyner, who caught that 82-yard touchdown pass. Rogers and Granger, the split backs behind Pastorini. He's back to throw. He fires in the middle. It is almost picked off. It was intended for Joyner, who had run a slant pattern in the middle. Jake Scott was down on one knee, and the ball deflected off Joyner's hands, and Scott was startled by the appearance all of a sudden of a football in front of him, and he could not hold on to it.
Pastorini's got to put that ball up in the air, Rick, and we're going to see a lot of prevent defense on behalf of Miami. So we should see the guys really cut loose trying to get to Pastorini.
They've got the three men up there, and Matheson is in the ball game with that 53 defense. He will either play a linebacker or drop back or drop up to a defensive end, depending on the situation. 2nd and 10. Houston, their 46. Back to throw. Pastorini gets pressure. The ball is deflected in the air by the rush. I believe Denherter got his hands on it. It drops to the ground incomplete. They were going for the far sideline, and Pastorini, pass intended for Granger. Denherter on the rush got his hands up and deflected the pass away, which, if you can't get to the quarterback, is the second best thing to do. So it'll be a 3rd down and 10. Joyner is out, and Jim Byrne comes back in at a wide receiver. Byrne and Gracie used to team up all the time at Purdue. 3rd down and 10. 7:18 to go. Dolphins 34, Oilers 13. From the Oilers' 46-yard line. Pastorini drops the throw, getting pressure again. He fires. It is caught out there by the tight end, Reed, on the far side of the field at the 40, and he's down at the Dolphins' 39-yard line. Tim Foley, the cornerback, is the man who got him, but not before Reed picks up the first down. That's the first time that they have gone to him this afternoon. We have a timeout on the field.
A 15-yard gain.
We have a timeout on the field. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score are Dolphins 34, the Oilers 13. Back at the Orange Bowl, we apologize. The official gave us a definite timeout sign, and during the play, there was no timeout sign. Pastorini unloaded a pass, and Foley intercepted for the Dolphins back at the 10, runs it back out to the 22-yard line. And the Dolphins on the first play from scrimmage, Hubert Ginn carries out to the 30-yard line, fumbles the ball, but the Dolphins get their hands back on it. We sincerely apologize for that. That is the first time that has happened. But we were watching the referee. He looked unsure to us, gave us a timeout sign, and as soon as we broke for the commercial, he blows his whistle and they're back in play. Pastorini threw the ball. Foley picked it off back at the 10, ran it back out to the 22, and the Dolphins now have it at the 30-yard line on an 8-yard pickup by Hubert Ginn. Greasy, the quarterback, with 5:51 to go. Otto Stowe is at one wide receiver, splits to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Here is the handoff. Going to Hubert Ginn, the sweep to the right. He is going to be knocked down at the 35, the 36-yard line by strong safety Ken Houston.
Picks up the first down.
Tackle also in on the tackle was Mike Tilleman. That is a first down for the Dolphins.
37-yard line.
First down for the Dolphins out at the Dolphin 37-yard line. Pastorini had the pass picked off by Tim Foley back at the 10, runs it back to the 22, and the Dolphins in a couple of plays have a first down out to the 37-yard line. And we again apologize, but he didn't look certain to me. The minute I paused for the commercial, boom, there he was, blowing his whistle back in play again. All right, ready to go. First down for the Dolphins at our 37-yard line. Earl Morrill now in the game at quarterback. Here is the handoff again. Sweep to the right side. Finds a hole. 40, 45. Out to the 47-yard line. Check it. Charlie Lee. Charlie Lee, the ball carrier. Phil Croyle over from the linebacker spot makes the tackle on the play. Lee and Ginn are now the running backs, and Earl Morrill is the quarterback, and Larry Little gets up off of that turf and comes limping off the field. Henry?
That's what we wanted to tell you, Rick. It looks like Larry's right leg. That's where he had a little problem with a bruise above the knee earlier in the ball game.
And it'll be a 2nd down and 1 as they put the ball down at the
Some
Dolphins'
gas stations
46-yard
feature
line. 4 minutes and 20
others have
seconds left
brands
to
you
play in the
know.
ball game.
Now think of
Dolphins with a
Marlon
34-13 lead.
So I thought I'd talk to both of them a little bit about the playing conditions out here today. With all the snow and with all the snow, excuse me, it looked like ice. I'm thinking snow. With all this rain and being slippery. Marlon, tell us a little bit. Was it hard to cut out there, hard to complete your patterns off?
Well, it depended on the pattern. Any pattern inside, it wasn't that bad because you didn't have to make multiple cuts. When you try to make an outside move,
That'll be a 3rd down.
like a corner or an out, it was both
And there was a
difficult to get your footing on those
back up
particular
at the
patterns.
46-yard line.
Do you have any problem with the man covering you? Could you do pretty well what you want to do with him?
Well, I really didn't get a chance to
holding call
experiment with him.
against the
We didn't
Houston
do
Oilers,
anything
which will
too
give the
much on my
Dolphins a first
side.
down.
Most of the things we did my side were running, and I only had one pass
That's the initial
play,
indication
directed
from
toward
the
me. So I
official.
really couldn't get a feel of what he was doing or what I could do against him.
Down at
Well,
the
congratulations on a good
41-yard
win,
line.
Marlon.
Thank you.
Now let's talk a few
call
minutes to Otto.
defensive holding.
Otto, you had a chance out there to try to cut. How was it?
And this is an automatic first down
Marlon.
for
It
the Dolphins.
wasn't ideal. I think
they picked the ball up.
primarily the outcuts and the pattern I ran on the goal line was a corner pattern, and you really couldn't break off the outside move, and you had to kind of shuffle your feet and then kind of break out.
How do you feel? Would you much rather be playing on regular grass?
3 minutes and 58 seconds. Left to go in the ball game. Dolphins with a 34-13 lead.
Me, I think
switch to the far side, fully to the near side. Huberkin and Charlie Lee.
Well, isn't it really a strain to be coming out there worrying about retaining your footing most of the time rather than going on completing that pattern?
Yes, it is. You already have
gets to the 45.
a lot of things on your mind, what you want to do against the man that's covering you, and you're trying to read the defense, and it just adds a little more pressure on you when you have to worry about your footing. That should be
is in his offensive center for the Dolphins. He is a man that performed for Buffalo last year at 6'6", 270, an 8-year veteran from Cal State of Los Angeles.
Oh, hold it a second.
A 2nd down and 4 situation for the Dolphins at the Houston 45-yard line.
On getting into the man.
And fully comes to the near side.
Did you have any
Lee
trouble with your
again,
footing?
split backs in behind
Well, I had a little
on the
bit, yes.
Houston
I was really
45-yard
careful
line.
throughout the game.
Earl, long
I had
count, spins, hands
the
off
turf
to
streak shoe,
Ginn,
which
hits
we've
the
been
hole,
using
comes
quite
back to
often.
the outside and
see
puts
most
the
of the
ball
guys
down at the 42-yard line.
changed over
Just
to
as
another
he's starting
tack,
to
but I
make
stayed
another
with the
cut.
turf streak,
Alexander
and
and
I
Coyle
was slipping.
make the tackle
Well,
on
let's
the
talk
play.
about when you're not slipping
They've been
out there,
working on
Vern.
Larry
I think we're
Little's
finding
knee.
you really
It wasn't
coming into
knee
your
this time, not
own this
above the
year.
knee.
You all
They're
working
putting an
with
ice
that
pack
unit,
on it.
that
Doesn't
defensive
appear to
line
be
unit,
serious
are
enough
really
to keep
getting
him out
to
of
the
next
pass and
week's game,
starting
but I
to
think
control
they're
that
going to rest him the
offense.
rest of this
Can you
game.
tell me the reason
3rd down
for it?
and 1.
Really, I can.
Fleming,
It's
the
just
two tight ends are in there. The ball at the Houston
we've had a lot of work
42-yard
on
line.
it, both last year
So is out.
and this year.
I'm sure Monty Clark right now is sure happy.
I just really can't say what the secret is.
Dolphins
It's just
getting as much
working
playing
real
time
fine
for
now.
the
Well, it sure is. We're real
entire
pleased
squad
with
as
the
they
job
can.
that you're
3rd
doing
and
in that
1 at the
entire
Houston
defensive
42.
line. Thanks a lot.
Morrill up
Thank you
under
very
center, box
And now let's
signals.
turn you
Here's the
back up
handoff
to
again, cuts
Al Burns
outside. He
Tapper.
spins off a tackler, still
Thank you,
digging, and gets to the 39. That should be good enough for a first down. First down for the Dolphins as Hubert Ginn did not give up after he was hit at the line of scrimmage. Middle linebacker Garland Boyette and linebacker Floyd Rice on the tackle. The ball at the Houston 39-yard line, and Stowe is back in the ball game. 2 minutes, 4 seconds left to go. We're going to get the 2-minute warning here in just a moment. And there it is, if I can read the official sign. Dolphin football action will continue in 1 minute. The score, the Dolphins 34, the Oilers 13. Rick Weaver, Lou Crickmer, and Henry Barrow back at a well-soaked Orange Bowl this afternoon with 2 minutes to play in the ball game. Earl Morrill has the ball club on the move now with a first down at the Oilers' 39-yard line. The Dolphins lead 34-13. And in the ball game, Doug Crusan, Al Jenkins, Howard Kindig, Norm Evans is still in there. At the tight end, Jim Mandich, Twilly and Stowe are the wide receivers. Morrill, the quarterback. The split backs are Ginn and Lee. Morrill dropping to throw. Swings one out here on the near side to Ginn up the near side of the 40, 35, 30, dragging tacklers with him. Shakes a tackler at the 25, still going out of bounds at the 20 to 16-yard line. Goes Hubert Ginn. A great effort by Hubie. Phil Croyle was the man that he dragged with him for about 5 yards. Little swing pass to the near side. He picked up the screen and gets a first down to the Oilers' 16-yard line. And Ginn was hit, bouncing off people. And Croyle was dragged about 5 yards before he finally made the final stop on the play. So the Dolphins have a first down under Morrow's direction at the Houston 16-yard line with 1 minute and 48 seconds left to go. Stowe splits to the left, Twilley to the near side. Ginn and Lee, the split backs behind Morrow. A handoff goes to Charlie Lee, puts his head down and bangs the middle. Gets down to about the 13-yard line. Tackle by Leo Brooks, defensive tackle for Houston. Clock moving with 1 minute and 36 seconds left to play. Airtime next week along these network stations and WIOD for the Minnesota game will be at 3:50 from Bloomington, Minnesota. A second down and 7. Dolphins ball at the Houston 13-yard line. They come out of the huddle. Morrill, the quarterback, sends Stowe to the far side, Twilley to the near side. Ginn and Lee, the split backs, in behind Morrill. From the Houston 13-yard line, the 17-year veteran, Morrill, on the drop play, hands to Lee, or check it, Ginn, and he tries to come over the right side and is tossed for a loss at the 12-yard line. Garland Boyette, the middle linebacker, let's see where they're going to put the ball down. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, no loss on the play. Might have even picked up a yard to the 12. Floyd Rice and Garland Boyette in on the stop. Ball just inside the 13, so we'll call it 7 yards. Third down and 7. For the Dolphins, the ball at about the 12.5-yard line. They've got to get down to the 6 for a first down. Clock moving with 33 seconds to go. Dolphins have this one won 34-13. Stowe splits left, Twilley to the near side. The ball from the 12-yard line. Clock moving with 23 seconds to go. Morrow on the snap, drops straight back to throw. He is looking for Stowe. Overthrown as Stowe had a little trouble with the defensive back in the end zone over in the corner, Benny Johnson. The fans on the far side of the field are booing, but there was no flag thrown. There was a flag tossed down here at the 3-yard line on this side of the field. Defensive holding again is the call. The initial reaction would have been interference in the end zone from the crowd reaction on the far side of the field. That gives the Dolphins a first down, stops the clock with 16 seconds. But there was another penalty here on the flag thrown here on the near side. Defensive holding against the Oilers. So the Dolphins have a first and goal at the Oilers 7-yard line with 16 seconds left to play. A defensive holding is an automatic first down. Stowe splits to the left, Twilley to the near side. Ginn and Lee in behind Morrill. Here's the hand off to Hubert through the right side. He's down to the 4-yard line before he is dropped. 10 seconds, 9 seconds. No timeout has been called. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Willie Alexander made the tackle on the play, and they're going to let the clock run out. They let the clock run out. To the mixed reaction of the fans, the Dolphins win it, dominated all the way. The final score, our Dolphins 34, the Oilers 13. We'll be back with a final wrap-up after these announcements.
It was a good game to get over with. That's the way I felt about the ball game. We had a lot of things happen in our favor early in the game and took advantage of them and got out to a 3-touchdown lead, and then seemingly had things pretty much under control. But the scramble pass where Pastoruni got out of the pocket and hit Joyner coming across the field and gave him the quick touchdown seemed to put us on edge a little bit. We had trouble hanging on to the football after that, and I was just waiting for that final drive to ice the ball game, and it finally did come after we fumbled away a couple of opportunities. But the fact is that it did come, and we moved it down the field and put the game out of reach, and good job by everyone, and it does put us 2-0, and we're happy about that part.